Hi, welcome to today's video. And today's video we'll be looking at if function. And under if function we'll be looking at sum, count, and average. And we have about 8 examples in which we're going to be looking at. All these examples are to give you more knowledge about if function. The first example will talk about sum if function. The second one too will still talk about sum if function, but the third one will talk about sum ifs, as well as the fourth. Then the fifth will talk about count if, and the sixth will talk about count ifs. Then 7 and 8 example will talk about average if and average ifs. So without wasting time, let's get to it. We have our data right here, and from this data we have the employee ID, the first name, the last name, the job title, department, gender, age, hire date, annual salary, and country. You have so much of data this way, and you have to do some specific additions. So let's start with sum if function. How do you use sum if function? Let's say you are told to find the salaries of employee in United States. Now you have this bulky data, and you want to start calculating for the salary of every employee in United States. How do you do that? Do you have to start counting or start picking them one after the other to start adding? No. You can decide to just use sum if function. Sum if function can just extract based on the criteria. And from what we have from the question, the only criteria we have is United States. That is, you're only told to add up staffs living in United States. So that means you have to extract only United States and sum them up. If this is ordinary sum function, it will just add everything. If it is sum function, it will just add every salary together. But now we want to look at just employees working in United States. So to start with, we'll go inside the box and just type equals to. Every formula you write in Excel starts with equality sign. Then we'll go ahead and type equals to sum if. Actually, we want to do sum if there is sum on top here, but then no, we want to see how if function works with sum. So just select sum if, double click on it. Then the first question to ask you is, what is the range? Now the range we are talking about here is actually where you are actually picking the criteria from. That is, you are talking about employees in the United States. So that means the range where you want to extract or where you want to pick from is country. So you have to go to the header where you have J here. Just click on J. It will select everything under that column. Then you have it there, JJ. Then click your comma. And the next question to ask you is, what is the criteria? Now, the criteria in which we are using to add is United States. That is, it's only for those United States who want the Excel to do for us. So that means the criteria, you have to put it in quotes. Just follow, open quotes, and type United States. Be very, very careful to put the open quotes and the close quotes. If you don't put the open quotes and the close quotes, let's say for instance I forget to put something there to bring out that question, then to write dash. Let me go back to the formula again and say, okay, let me do this and say, okay, sum anything. Nothing will happen because we are not done with it. So let me go back to it again and go back to United States. You open the quote, you close the quote. After closing the quote, comma, then the last one is the sum range. Before you click enter, ensure all these three are filled. So we've already input the range, which is the country, which is column J. Then the criteria in quotes, already note that. Then the last one is sum range. What you are summing is the salary. So that means as you selected for country by clicking on the column J, you are going to select the same thing for I. So just click on I, then it will put I full column I. So it selects everything under that column. And after doing this, after filling in all these required information, just hit enter. Then you'll be surprised that a value pops up, and that is the sum of employees working in the United States alone. We can decide to see whether this is actually right or not. So let's see, you come here in order to validate whether what we did is right, come to country here, just select, and let's deselect everything and select only United States and click OK. Now, we've only selected United States alone. Then select every salary. Select everything, drag it down, hold your mouse, drag it down. You can see we've selected everything under annual salary now for only employees living only United States. So now let's come down here. If you look at it, the sum here is saying $7,300,863. Let's note this value around this region. That's 7300863. So if you look at it, it is the same thing with what we have in the answer for SUMIF. So that is how you can decide to even go ahead and say, okay, let me test for Brazil, let me test for China, any other country that is there. And not only can you make use of country, you can decide to make use of gender, you can decide to make use of IT as the criteria. So for this example, I only made use of United States as the criteria. So this is how to use SUMIF function. Again, you see, once you double click and you start with the equality sign, just type SUMIF, open the parentheses, then you select JJ, that is the range, then you select the criteria, then you select the sum range, then you hit enter, then the answer pops up. Okay, now the second, let's try another one again. That's what I did for 2. Let's say find the salaries of employees in IT department. Okay, we only want to find the salary of employees working in IT department only. So let's start with the equality sign equals to SUMIF. Again, double click. It will ask you the same question again, the range. The range, like we did for United States, was the country because it is United States. But now we are talking about IT department. So that means our range would definitely be department. So select department, that is column E. Select it, comma. It will ask you for the criteria. And the criteria there is, if you look at it, we have different departments there. We have IT, we have finance, we have sales, we have accounting, we have human resources, different departments. But then the question says find the salaries of employees in IT department. So that means our criteria would definitely be IT. Please, it is very important to note that the name or how you have it in the how you have it under department must correlate or must be the same as what you are typing as the criteria. Anything short of that will render it invalid. So you have to type it as you have it there. So it is IT that is there. That is why I typed IT. So the next thing is to put your comma. Don't forget, it will ask you again the sum range. We are summing. It is only salary we are summing. So we'll select the salary. Then we are going to close the parentheses. After doing that, hit enter. Then you have the value of the salary, total amount of the salary of staff or employees working in IT department only. We can decide to validate that as well, like we did for country. Let's come under department here, deselect everything, select only IT, then check. Now let's select all the salary for everything. Okay, down here again, let's check. Down here we have 3144957. Note the value 3144957. So this answer, let's see whether, or that value, let's see whether it correlates with what we have. Let me select everything. So you can see 3144957. Yes, so that means this is correct. So that is how to do the SUMIF. Now the next one is SUMIFS. SUMIFS. The difference between, I'll tell you, the difference between SUMIF and SUMIFS is that SUMIFs takes more than one criteria. SUMIF only take one criteria. That means if SUMIF is only allowed to take just employees in the United States, SUMIF can say male employees in United States, or female employees in United States, or male employee in China, or male employee that is working in IT department at the same time living in China. So let's look at this question. Under this example 3, we say find the salaries of male employees in accounting department. Now let us analyze the question. It says find the salaries of male employees in accounting department. So we have two criteria. First one is gender, which is male. Then the second one is department, which is accounting. So to start with, type your equality sign. Instead of picking SUMIF, no, we are going to pick SUMIFS. SUMIFS. Then to ask you what is the sum range. Now in this case, you are starting with the sum range with the salary. So the sum range is where the addition of the whole salary, or where you're extracting what you want to add up, will be. So it is under annual salary. I will select everything. I've selected them. Then I'll click comma. Then it will ask again the criteria range 1. The first criteria is male employee. We have male and female employee, so that means we have to go under gender and select the range. So that means you have to select column F as the range, since that is where we can find the gender, and then comma. It will ask you again, if you're seeing it, it will ask you what is the criteria 1. Since you selected range 1, which is gender, then what is the criteria 1? Is it female you want to pick or male? But the question says male, so that means you have to type male in quotes. Type male in quotes as the criteria 1, then your comma. Then automatically the computer detects you're done with criteria 1. It asks you for criteria 2, the range of criteria 2. And as you picked for criteria 1, you're going to pick for criteria 2. So criteria 2 is, if you look at it, it is accounting department. So we'll go under department and select everything. After selecting that, you type your comma. Then the same thing again, you open quotes. Under the department, what are we looking at? Accounting. So you are going to type accounting as you have it there. Accounting in quote. Then you had your comma. Note something before I will finally end this. Note something that the moment I type comma, it asks me for criteria 3. But in this question, we are only told to do for male employee in accounting, just 2 criteria. So I don't need criteria 3. This is just to show you that SUMIFs can do more than 1, more than 2, more than 3 criteria at the same time based on what you want. So I don't need this comma. What I just need to do is close the parentheses, then hit enter. Now this is the amount, or this is the salary of male employees in accounting department. Let's quickly validate that. First of all, let's start with the gender. We are going to deselect everything again, select only male. Okay, after selecting only male, the next thing is accounting department. So you have to deselect everything again, then select only accounting department, then click OK. Now we only have 3 people, just 3 male employees. And once you check, let's see what is the addition, what is the sum of this salary. It is down here, 391,269, which correlates with what we have here, 391,269. So that is how to use SUMIF functions, SUMIFS functions, in which you can select multiple criteria to find the answer or find solution to your problem. Now let's do another example under SUMIFS. Let's see whether you are following. Example 4 says we are to find the salaries of female employees in IT departments living in China. The question is, how many criteria do we have here? We have 3 criteria. First one is female, second one is IT, third one is China. So let's start one after the other. Equal to SUMIFS. Once you see it this way, just double click, it will open the parentheses. Sum range again is the annual salary, then comma, then criteria 1 is female, that means we have to go under gender, then comma again, you open quote, type female, close quote, comma. What is criteria 2? That is IT department. I will have to go under department, select everything under column E, then comma. What is the criteria under column E? The criteria is IT. You have to type IT in quotes. Then you hit your comma. It will ask you for criteria 3, which is country, which is China. So you have to select the range, criteria range, which is country. After doing that, press your comma, open quotes. And what is the name of the country? China. Then after closing the quotes, you have to close the parentheses, then hit enter. So now this is the salary, total salary of female employees in IT department living in China. We can go on and on to validate whether this is correct. You can decide to do that. Can we quickly do that? Yes, female employees, China. Let's select only China here. Then not only China alone that are working under IT departments. Oh, do we have any? We have one, just one person, and the amount the person is paid is $125,633, $125,633. So let's see whether that goes the same with what you have there. Let's see, let's select everything back to see whether we are right. Now I want to believe we have $125,633. Okay, so that is how to do for SUMIFS SUMIF function. Now moving on to COUNTIF. Now we are done with sum. Let's move down to COUNTIF. Okay, COUNTIF as well. Normally when you count, you can decide to see, okay, what's the total number of data we have here, everything here. Okay, you can see everything is 99. The count down here says 99. But then let's say someone just come and say, okay, how many female do you have from this data? How many female employees do you have? Then you start wondering, how do you do that? So COUNTIF can help you to filter out what you want to count. You only want to count female, you only want to count male, you only want to count IT department, you only want to count accounting department, you only want to count United States, you only want to count Brazil. So it's going to make your work easier and faster if you know this function. And to use this function, the first thing to do is, like I said the other time, every formula starts with equality sign, equals to count if. So we are counting if. Then the first question it asks is, what is the range? What do you want to count? Now let's go back to the question. The question says total number of employees in the United States. So that means the range as well will be under country. So you have to select that, comma. Then what is the criteria? You open quote again. The criteria is United States. So United States is the criteria. Then close quote, close parenthesis, hit enter. So that means we only have 63 employees living in United States. So we can decide to check this by just selecting only United States to see. Oh, selected. So how many do you have down here? Let's see. After selecting everything, yes. After counting, we have 63. So out of numerous data, you can decide to extract what you want to count out with just COUNTIF function. Now let's move down to COUNTIFs function. How do you do this as well? Like we did for SUMIF and SUMIFS, and we said the difference between SUMIF and SUMIFs is that SUMIF only give you room to add just one criteria, and SUMIFs gives you room to add two based on 2-3 criteria. And count if as well only give you room for just one. If you look at the formula, it's only giving you range for one or room for one criteria. But for count ifs, you can count 2, 3, have room for 4 or 5 criteria based on what you want, how streamlined you want your data to be. So the first thing to start with again is equality sign, then count ifs. We'll see it down here, count ifs, double click, it will ask you criteria range 1. So the criteria one we're looking at is the number of female director in United States. This question is talking about 3 criteria. The total number of female director in United States. So we have the first criteria, which is we need the employee to be female. We need them to be just director. We really want to know how many director, female director that are living in the United States. So the first criteria is gender. Select gender, comma, then open quotes. What do you want other criteria? 1, you want only female. Then close quotes, comma. Then it will ask you for criteria 2, director, and that can be found under department. Oh, is it under department? No, not under department, but under job title. Okay, under job title, then we are going to type director, comma. Criteria 3 is saying country, select country, comma, and the country is United States. We're typing it as we have it there, close quotes and close parentheses, then hit enter. So we only have 7 female directors from United States. You can do the same thing to find for female directors in China and find female director in Brazil if they does exist. So you don't have to be scrolling and doing manual counting, oh, female, oh, male director and the likes. That will be a time consuming exercise. So but this one is going to just give you the answer in no time. Now moving on to the next, which is the last one, is average if function. Average if function, we all know what an average is. Average is just saying the middle, or let's say measuring the central tendency of your data. For instance, you want to find, oh, what is the average amount that is being paid. So for instance, some might have high salary, low salary, so you want to find the average, the central tendency. So but now we are looking at average if, and the question says find the average salary of employees in marketing department. So to use this function, or if you have questions like this and they ask, probably they are being told to find the average salary of employees in marketing department. Mind you, not only in marketing department, you can find it for people in accounting department, finance department, IT department. So but we are looking at just marketing department alone, so you have to just type a quality sign, then average. Okay, average if it will ask you again the range, and the range is department, which is under, yes, under column E, everything under column E. Select that again. Then what is the criteria? The criteria is marketing, close quotes, then comma. Then to now ask you the average range. Average range is where the salary is, because they are numbers. So you have to go under salary and select everything there, then close quotes and hit enter. So what we have here is the average salary of employees in marketing department. So we can decide to turn this back to accounting format by clicking this dollar sign up here. Then you have this amount. So this is the average salary being paid to an employee in marketing department. And the last one is the average ifs. You know, average if is just one criteria, just one, which is department. But average ifs, we have numerous criteria based on what we want to achieve. So the first thing again is to hit equality sign. Average ifs. Average ifs, we ask you what is the average range. all these patterns are similar for some if, some ifs, count ifs, if you can just study. So average range, what is the average range like we have for average if? Average range is where your salary is, what you want to compute, the numbers, the numerical values, and that is the salary. So average range is annual salary. You click on that, then type your command, then to ask you, start asking you for criteria 1, criteria 2, criteria 3, and so on and so forth. So criteria 1 range is male. Male. The question is saying male engineering in the United States. So male. So look under gender. Then after gender, you can decide to go ahead and press comma. Then to ask you criteria 1, then you type male in quotes, comma. Criteria range 2 is department, which is engineering. You select that, comma. What is the criteria? Engineering in quotes, comma. Then to ask you for criteria 3, which is United States, and that is under country. So you select that, then comma, open quotes, United States. So you close quotes and you close parentheses, then you hit enter. So now we have the average salary of male engineering employees in the United States. Okay, let me just try to work with another example before I bring this to an end. Let me just quickly work on one example real quick. Let's say you have a question that says find the average salary of female, let's say female employees in Brazil. In Brazil, let's say we have to find the average salary of female employees in Brazil. Let me delete this. So how do you do this again? Just to give a recap of what we've been doing. So type a equality sign, then you have average ifs. So we have criteria 1, which is female. But before then, we need to bring out our average range. Again, our average range is the salary. So not country, no. You are not starting with country, you are not starting with gender first, but salary. So our salary is under column I, select that, comma. Then the criteria range 1 is female. So you come under gender and comma, open quotes, then you type female, close quotes, then comma. Criteria 2 is country, which is Brazil. So you can decide to select country, comma, then type Brazil, then you close parentheses and you hit enter. Yes, this is the average salary of female employees living in Brazil. So this is how to work with if function. So in summary, function helps to do sum if, helps to do count if and average if based on what you have. So if you've enjoyed the video so far and you like the video, please kindly hit the subscribe button, like the video, and please share. Turn on notifications to receive more updates about us. And I would love to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.